Hello everyone and welcome back to Global TC. We are here at Le Mans for the second event in the season. We've got 3 races coming your way today. If you'd like to know more about Global TC, please do go and check out Next Gen Motorsport on Instagram. Over there you can find out any information about the league and maybe get a better understanding of what you're about to witness. We've got 3 races coming your way. Hope you're all ready for them. I'm hoping they're as exciting as round 1. Let's get to them. The cars are on the grid, it's Durante on pole position in the Alfa Romeo, and we are racing in Le Mans, and it's a very good start for Daniel Solon. Alongside on the front row in that Mitsubishi, he gets straight up into the lead. It is Carlo Durante dropping to second, Adam Richardson in third there. He's going to make a push here already as they head into the first couple of corners here. Adam Richardson looking for second place as further back Sandover making a move as well as they go through the first chicane here. Richardson up into second place there. Good move for the VW driver. Crucial move early in this race to get some track position. As we see, it is Daniel Solon up at the front with that four-wheel drive, critical off the start line, getting him that lead of the race as we see Durante dropping back a little bit as Jonathan Mills making a move there on Durante. He's dropping back further. Mills on soft compound tyres, so is Adam Richardson. Daniel Solon and Carlo Durante though on the medium tyres. It's split strategy at the front of the field here today. Durante dropping back because of that choice, prioritising race 2 rather than race 1 here. And you can see Sandover, the second Alfa Romeo there. He is on the soft tyres for this race. He was the 3rd highest qualifier on these soft tyres for this race, as we can already see the VW is making a push for the lead of the race. He is in the slipstream of the Mitsubishi and he is pulling out of the slipstream. He's going past. This is going to look like a fairly easy move here for Adam Richardson if he pulls this one off. Solon can do nothing to defend as they make their way down towards the first of the chicanes on the Mulsanne straight. Adam Richardson has taken the lead of this race. He did not win a race in the previous event, but was very competitive throughout, started on pole for race 1 last week, and he is already looking like he could be a contender for this win in race 1 here today. As we can see there, Jonathan Mills also on the soft compound tyres. He'll be looking to try and get past Daniel Solon very quickly to try and help his chances at the race victory here. Adam Liu further down the field at the moment. Championship leader, of course, side by side with Ben Driscoll, both just behind Jordan Fingal there. As we look further up the field, Jonathan Mills not quite close enough to Daniel Solon just yet. But of course, those soft tyres will give him more grip through the chicane, so perhaps he can brake later or perhaps carry some more momentum through the corner and get the move done into Mulsanne corner later on in the lap. But Mills on the back of Solon, is he going to go for it? I'm not sure. He looks like he is. There is a side-by-side behind the 2 Alfa Romeos. Jonathan Mills up into second in this race, using that grip to his advantage there. He gets up into second. Further down the order, Sandover does get past his Alfa Romeo teammate and up into 4th place. Further down the field, there we see Adrian Tisci there, making his way through the field. All of the Toyotas had a pretty miserable qualifying session. Adrian is the lowest of the drivers to start this race on the soft compound tyres, and he is already making good positions up in the early stages. Tyler Davison, second in the championship, only 17th at the moment, qualified there and so far staying there. He's on the hard tyres for race 1 here. As we see them making their way down towards the Mulsanne corner. Heavy braking zone. As that's going deep there, that was Vastenberg. He's gone very wide. Bit of a slide. He's lost a couple of positions, but I think he's avoided any further contact at least. I don't know if there was contact that caused that slide. That's a bit of a scary moment there for the Dutch driver. As up at the front it is Richardson pulling away by quite a bit. You can see Mills struggling to keep up there with the VW out front. The VW does seem to have a very good top speed, which around Le Mans is critical. And I think the Honda is going to have its work cut out. Even if it is doesn't have as much success ballast on board, it's going to struggle to try and reel in that gap, at least for now. As we see Daniel Solon keeping up with the Honda just ahead of Mills. Solon now will have to perhaps look in his mirror. Scott Sandover on the soft tyres. He will be trying to make some moves here as behind we see Carlo Durante, Adam Liu there, trying to make his way through the field. Now Adam Liu is on the hard tyres in this race. He started in 4th place. He's lost a few positions here as Ben Driscoll on the soft compound tyres goes down his inside. Championship leader Liu trying to get a lot out of this race, trying to get as much as he can really, knowing that he's prioritising the later races. On the hards for this one though, it's going to try and cling on to some track position, I imagine, is his plan at this stage. Ben Driscoll on the softs though, trying to make his way forward. Currently started the race 4th highest of these soft runners. Only 5 drivers on the soft for this first race here today. We can see now that's Jordan Fingal making well, looking at a move there as we see Vishay Shah looking at a move on Fingal as they go through the Porsche curves now. Preston Brennan just behind his Mercedes teammate as they make their way through there. You can see this is where the grip really plays a big factor in who is quick and who isn't. As you can see that there, Driscoll all over the back of Durante through here, really putting the pressure on as he makes his way through the Porsche curves and now through the final of these S's. And towards the Ford chicanes he goes, as we also see Sandover really pressuring Solon towards the chicane here. The Alfa Romeo driver on those softs wants to try and get clear here. Does the Alfa Romeo have the speed to try and reel in the top two of Mills and Richardson? Currently, we're nearly a third of the way through the race, well, pretty much are a third of the way through the race, only being a 3-lap race. It may still feel like early days, but it is quite getting later than what it is. And that's Adrian Tishy. Adrian Tishy has pit on lap 1, started on the soft compound tyres, was the lowest driver to do so, had made some good track position, but that is early drama there for the Toyota driver, the top Toyota driver in qualifying, the only one to really resemble any chance of pace in this Le Mans event, and he's had problems already. That is heartbreak there for the Canadian there, as we see that's looking for a move. Sandover on Solon, not quite going to go for it though into the first couple of corners. As we see further back, we can also see the same as the case for Driscoll, getting held up there by Durante. Sandover not able to make the move just yet here, as he struggles with that Alfa Romeo. As let's now ride on board with Adrian Tishy for the incident, obviously, that's brought him into the pit lane. Let's see how he picked up some damage in this race, heading down the Mulsanne straight into the second of the chicanes and just brakes too deep, brakes way too deep, goes into the back of Dylan Varstenberg and has damaged the front of his Toyota, and that is a shame to see for Adrian, but sadly a pit stop for him will really hurt his event. That was really his race on the soft tyres ruined now, especially considering the length of the pit straight here at Le Mans. As there's contact there between Sandover and Solon. Sandover has sent Solon off into the gravel. It's a good job he's got a four-wheel drive car there as he pulls himself back onto the racetrack, but Sandover must have been frustrated for some reason. He's just sent Solon off the road. As we look further down the field now, Kieran Kevern pressuring Preston Brennan for a space in the top 10. We can see ahead of them, Vishay Shah just ahead as Kieran Kevern tries to make the move here down the inside. Looks like he has got the move done there on Preston as he now makes his way through the second part of the chicane and now back on to the straight. As we see here, Sandover, after getting clear of Solon, has been making some ground up on Jonathan Mills. He had to use a bit of muscle to get his way into third place. Will he have to do the same on Jonathan Mills as they head towards Indianapolis corner? Sandover on the inside this time. Doesn't look like he's going to try to make any contact. Don't know if that'll stay that way as they go side by side through that very high speed corner now. Sandover trying to go all the way around the outside. You can see the banking of the circuit through that corner. Gives Scott the chance to make the move. Sandover is now up into second place. He cuts across the front of the Honda and it looks like he's got it done. Jonathan Mills has dropped down to third place there. That is not what he would have wanted to see. He started 3 places ahead of Scott on the grid, but just didn't have the pace here as we see Solon now with pressure from Liu on the hard compound tyres. This is an incredible race from Liu. He's on the hard tyres and he's challenging for 4th place. He's going to go down the inside. That's where he started the race. The Renault is absolutely flying around here at the moment. He goes down the inside, gets up into 4th place. Liu takes the place away from Solon, who's on the medium tyres, who out-qualified him here. But up at the front, we can see Adam Richardson leading the race towards the Ford chicanes now for the final time. Started on pole at the Red Bull Ring, but could only finish second in race 1 ahead of 2 slightly more disappointing races. Now he comes to Le Mans, he starts the race third, he puts on the soft tyres, and he puts on a show, he puts on a performance. Adam Richardson is going to dominate race 1 here at Le Mans. He wins the race, and that is the perfect start to the event for Adam Richardson in second place. It will be the Alfa Romeo of Scott Sandover, with Jonathan Mills completing the podium there. Adam Liu looks like he's going to hold on for 4th place here, as he's just ahead of Daniel Solon still. On hard tyres, holding his grid position is remarkable. The Renault putting in just a brilliant performance there. The Renault clearly working well here ahead of Solon, Durante, Driscoll on the softs. Then it's Fingal, Shah, and then rounding out the top 10 we see Kieran Kevern there for the Toyota team. Then we see Brennan, Asante, Varstenberg, and it's Francis and Andre Jamil is going to complete the top 15 for us, with Adrian Tishy just missing out on a top 15 finish. Now we can see the official results here on your screen. Adam Richardson there confirmed with the win in round 1 ahead of Scott Sandover and Jonathan Mills. Adam Liu brings his car home in P4 with perhaps the drive of the season so far. I know it's only early, but still, it's worth noting that one there. 25 seconds off, but held up everyone else. Incredible stuff there from Adam Liu. Behind him, Daniel Solan, Carlo Durante, Ben Driscoll, and Jordan Fingal rounding out the top 8 positions. Then we see Vishay Shah ahead of Kieran Kevern, Preston Brennan, Albert Asante, Dylan Vastenberg, Lewis Francis, and Andre Jamil rounds out the points-paying positions. You got to feel sorry for Adrian Tishy there on the soft compound tyres for that race. Doesn't even get a point out of it. It's a shame for him, but of course that is part of racing, I suppose, as we see the bottom 3 positions in the race go to Matt Pouliot, Liam Jones, and Tyler Davison. But all 3 drivers among many in the field who prioritises the later races here today. Now it's race 2 time. And we're on the grid now for race 2 here at Le Mans. Richardson and Sandover on the front row, and we are racing once again here. It's a good start from Sandover, who immediately jumps that Alfa Romeo into the lead of it, as we see Richardson having to defend from Carlo Durante. Durante saved his soft tyres for this race, and after a solid finish in race 1, is already into the lead as they head into the first few corners of the lap. Sandover having to defend now from Richardson. Alfa Romeos 1 and 2 very briefly as Richardson now fights back up into 3rd position. Richardson on the mediums for this second race of the day. Same goes for Scott Sandover, as behind them we see Jonathan Mills, another driver who used his softs in race 1, also using the mediums for race 2 here. Adam Liu, he's on the mediums for race 2 after using the hards in race 1, as we see the field funneling their way through the curves here at the start of the lap. The field very bunched up in the mid-pack. That's the effect you get when all those cars that are starting in the front, most of them will have used softer tyres for race 1, therefore starting on harder tyres for race 2 makes the field very bunched up at the start of this race. We can see battling there towards the back end of the top 10. Critical positions, it's worth remembering. The top 10 flipped for the grid of race 3, so those cars that finish back end of the top 10 could well be your favourites for race 3 here today, as we see Adam Liu already putting pressure on Sandover for that 3rd position. An incredible race for Liu in race 1 when he was on the hard tyres to finish 4th. Now on the medium, same compound as Sandover, and he's making the move to get up into the podium positions here. Liu could be one to keep an eye on here. It may just be medium tyres, and Sandover is fighting back in the braking zone, it's worth saying. But of course, Liu, putting on that performance in race 1, you'd suggest that's got a lot of pace, that Renault, as he does indeed make the move on Sandover. Kevern just behind there. Kieran Kevern, he has gone with the hard tyres for this race, so he is putting in a pretty impressive drive so far after starting the first race on the mediums. We see Jonathan Mills here falling back through the field just a little bit. He's got Daniel Solan behind him. Solan, another driver who used the mediums in race 1, using the softs for race 2 here, and he's putting the pressure on Jonathan Mills, trying to get that move done as early as he can, really, because we've seen it so many times already in just this short season so far, that you have to get these moves done early when you're on the soft tyres. You cannot get stuck, and at a track like this where it's so easy to get stuck, as hard as it is to believe, when all these straights it is very easy just to get stuck behind someone. It's so important you get the moves done, and we can see some moves getting done here. Further back down the order, we've got Albert Asante in the Toyota making his way up into 8th place ahead of Brennan and then Fingal. You can see Asante is on the hard tyres, so the Toyota is performing well in this second race. Both Kieran Kevern and Albert Asante, both on hard tyres, both in Toyotas, and both in the top 10 at the moment. As we see here, Ben Driscoll started the first race on softs. For this race, he has gone with the medium tyre, so trying to cling on to some positions here. He'll be aiming for a reverse grid, I would imagine, trying to keep himself in the top 10 and fight for the win in race 3. As we see there, a bit of rubbing in the braking zone as they head towards Mulsanne corner. Preston Brennan side by side with Albert Asante, but a contact there at the apex is way off the road as Kieran Kevern. We mentioned how well he was doing. That's not very good though. Deep in the gravel, having to wait for the field to go by before he can rejoin the track, and well, it doesn't take an expert to say that something has gone quite badly wrong there for Kieran Kevern down at the hairpin. Was that just a lack of grip from his tyres? Or has there been contact or some form of drama with another driver? Let's have a look at the replay here. We're on board with Kevern. You can see he's just behind Sandover as they head towards Mulsanne corner, right in the slipstream. He is pressuring Sandover just a little bit. Is he going to make the move here? Is there going to be contact? We saw Sandover had a bit of a drama in this corner at the first race, and look at that slide from Kevern. Just locks the rears as soon as he hits the brake, snaps out, has to avoid the back of Sandover, and goes straight on wide into the dirty part of the track, and then of course into the gravel. That's a big moment for Kevern. It looked like he locked the brakes. Maybe he was hit from behind. We'll have another view in a second, but worst worst case scenario for Kevin here. It's been a dreadful event so far for Toyota, with Adrian Tishy's problems in the first race, as we do indeed there was no contact. Kevin just losing it on the brakes there. Not what he would want at all. Drama already, but yeah, Adrian Tishy problems in race 1. Now Kieran Kevin problems in race 2. Albert Asante though, currently sitting inside the top 10. That's where he'd want to be. He's saving his softs for race 3. So if he can finish in the top 10 in this race, I mean, you've got to say he's one of the favourites to win race 3. As we see this pack file their way through Preston Brennan there. Looked like he was making a move. As we see there, Daniel Solon still trying to make his way past Scott Sandover, not finding it easy here as he looks towards the inside as they dive into the Porsche curves. Going to brake a little bit later. You see, lifting off the brake just a little bit to try and force his way into that gap, and now will be on the back of Adam Liu to try and pressure him into a mistake as they go through the Porsche curves here. And whilst it's such an important part of the lap if you're on the soft tyres, this is where all the speed is found if you're on softs, as Preston Brennan goes for a slide there. Pretty cool move on Jonathan Mills in the background. This is the part of the lap where the softs are just unbelievable, quite frankly. This is where you will find lap time if you're on the soft compound tyres. The problem is, you may find lap time, you will not find passing opportunities. Not unless you're brave like Preston was just there, where you have to pull off something special to get moves done in the Porsche curves, at least in the latter stages of it, as we see here. Solon on the back of Liu, not quite close enough to make a move into the Porsche chicanes. Preston Brennan thinking about it though, he's going to go down the inside. In the background, that's the other Mercedes of Vishay Shah. Big send on the brakes, gets the move done as Preston Brennan's going to try and get 2 for 1 here. Can he do it? Is he going to go down the inside of the final couple of corners? Not often you see racing through these corners. Preston Brennan gets the move done though. He's up into 5th place. He is on the soft tyres for race 2. One of 4 drivers to do that strategy. As we see, a couple of cars have come into the pit lane here. That's Dylan Vastenberg, as well as Matt Pulio, and I believe that was Andre Jamil as well, who've had a drama here on the opening lap and had to pit for repairs. As we see, battling down into the first corner, it's Vishay Shah making the move on Scott Sandover. Shah, another driver on the soft tyres. Mercedes obviously working together here, both of them with the same basic strategy of using the soft compounds for race 2, although it is worth noticing they're using their medium and hard the opposite way to each other. Liu still in third though, Carlo Durante out front and by a long way, looking like a very good chance of victory here for the San Marino driver. As we now ride on board here with Matt Pulio on the start, we're going to experience a 4-wheel drive car's launch off the line. Brilliant start for him. He is using his medium tyres for this second race, and he made some positions off the line. We're going to hopefully find out here what caused the damage. We're looking backwards from the onboard of Matt Pulio into the first braking zone of the lap, and he just gets hit, as that's both Alfa Romeos piling into the back of each other and then into the back of Pulio. That's bad for Alfa Romeo and bad for the Ford driver of Pulio, all having to pit for repairs there. As we see the battle further up the field, Liu is side by side now with Preston Brennan. Solon up the road, pressuring Adam Richardson, as Brennan trying to get the move done here into the Porsche curves. We saw Solon make a move into this corner earlier in the race, and it looks like Preston's going to do just the same. He gets it down the inside, and Liu is going to lose both those positions. They're pushed a little bit offline, and that's allowed Vishay Shah to get through as well. Both Mercedes now into the top 5 positions. That's what they want to see, as we see Solon really pressuring the back of second place here as he goes down the inside. Looks like he's going to get that move done here. We're having to see some very creative moves here, especially on the VW and on the Renault. Those 2 cars with very impressive top speed, really making the other drivers work for it here, as we see Preston Brennan looking for the move into that corner. Not quite able to make it though. The grip is good, but it's not quite that good for Preston Brennan, but he is really pressuring the back of Richardson here. Richardson, if he does hold on for P3 here, it would be a record in a sense of, and again, it's early days of the season, so most things are records, but it would be the first driver to get multiple podiums in the same event. So of course he won race 1. If he holds on to a podium here, it will be the first driver to get 2 podiums within the same event here. As we look further down the field here on this final lap of the race, we can see some battling going on towards the back end of the reverse grid, and Tyler Davison, another driver who will be using softs for race 3, is fighting his way into the top 10. He's even looking like he wants to do better than that. He's challenging Jonathan Mills as they head into the S's here. The Toyota team, 2 of their cars with problems, but the other 2 are absolutely flying here in the race pace. Qualifying pace may not have been their friend, but race pace certainly looks like it's going to be. Davison looking like he's going to get that move done. He does indeed here, and that is critical here. Very good grid position, and obviously good points for the final race here today at Le Mans. But out front, I mean, it's been utter domination. There's been no one else within sight of Carlo Durante in this one. It's a well-deserved victory, and that is perfect strategy pulled off there by the Alfa Romeo man. He wins race 2 at Le Mans. Brilliant drive there from Carlo Durante, as in second place Daniel Solon will take that podium position, as just barely holding on. It will be the record. Adam Richardson, the first driver to get 2 podiums in an event here in Global TC. Behind him, Preston Brennan and Vishay Shah. Adam Liu, championship leader coming into this event. Adam Richardson, though, you'd have to imagine is closing in on that gap so far in this one, as Liu comes across the line there, P6. Then it's Albert Asante with his soft to race 3, going to be a contender. Behind them, it's Tyler Davison in 8th place there. Scott Sandover's fading late on here. He's going to come home 9th ahead of Jonathan Mills, and then Liam Jones comes home in 11th. Then we see that's Lewis Francis, Jordan Fingal, Adrian Tishy, Ben Driscoll completing out the top 15 and points paying positions here today. Now we can see the official results, and Carlo Durante there winning by a comfortable margin there. Just goes to show how important it is to use your tyres at the right time, and that was certainly the right time to use his soft tyres. Second, Daniel Solon, a bit harder than he would have wanted it to be, but he got it done in the end. Adam Richardson, as I mentioned, record holder now, getting that second podium here in this event. Then Preston Brennan, Vishay Shah, Adam Liu, Albert Asante and Tyler Davison rounding out the top 8, with Scott Sandover and Jonathan Mills taking in that critical P10. He'll be starting on pole position for race 3. Behind him, just missing out Liam Jones. He'll be gutted by that because he does have the softs for race 3. Nearly a crucial position for him. Behind him it is Lewis Francis, Jordan Fingal, Adrian Tishy and Ben Driscoll rounding out the top 15 places. Final 3 in that race, again, the 3 drivers that had incidents being Matt Pulio, Dylan Vastenberg and Andre Jamil, all with their problems down in the first corner of the race. Now, let's go to race 3. The cars are ready, the top 10 is flipped, and it's Jonathan Mills on pole, and we are racing here for the final time today in Le Mans, and it's a stunning start from Tyler Davison, who charges through the field. In fact, look at that, both Toyotas and both Mercedes are now locking out the top 4 places. Brilliant start from the four-wheel drive cars, as Jonathan Mills and Scott Sandover have faded back early in this race as they headed to the first braking zone here. It's Davison leading Asante, then it's Shah and Brennan, with, that is, Scott trying to fight on there. There's a bit of a moment there, it looked like, from Brennan as they filed out of there, as we see the field making their way underneath the Dunlop Bridge now and down into the S's. That's down the inside goes Lewis Francis in the Subaru, started 12th, already into 4th. Liam Jones started 11th. He is already making some big moves as well here, going around the outside of Sandover. Can he get it done? He can. Several cars getting past there by those two early on here, saving their soft tyres for race 3 and putting on a show. That is certainly true as they make their way through the field, as we see them funneling their way onto the Mulsanne straight now, and that was Liu and Richardson very close. Those two top 2 in the championship at this stage of the season, battling it out, as we see Jonathan Mills there side by side with Dylan Vastenberg. It's worth noting Jonathan Mills started this race on pole position. He started on pole and he's barely inside the top 15. I don't know how that's happened. We'll have to look at that one later. That is a strange situation as we see here a battle for the places on the podium. Lewis Francis pressuring, but Liam Jones pressuring just as much here. As I mentioned, these two drivers both on the soft tyre for race 3. Vishay Shah, however, on the mediums, going to have a hard time covering off these two as we see Francis making a move. Will he get down the inside? He will. Goes around the outside of Liam, down the inside of Vishay. Gets the move done very nicely. Francis up into 3rd position. Shah drops down to 4th. Liam Jones in 5th place. Adam Liu in 6th, ahead of Scott Sandover and Preston Brennan. These drivers that save their softs for race 3. For example, Adam Liu there, who is flying along. We've seen how quick that Renault is on the straights. Now let's find out how quick it can go in the corners with the soft tyres on, as we see him flying his way through the field. He started this straight in 6th place. He's now up into 4th. He may even have a chance here to go onto the podium. Will he make 3 passes in one straight here? He's pulling alongside Lewis Francis and into the braking zone. Liu, championship leader. That is why. The speed he carried down that straight. He's up into the podium places. And with the speed he had just there, those Toyotas out front better be worried. They are both on soft tyres too. But that was pretty impressive there from Liu. He charges his way past them all and down to the next straight he goes. As we see behind there, you can see Liam Jones pressured a bit by Vishay Shah. As we look back at the front, Tyler Davison got a decent gap to Albert Asante, but compared to the 2 races we've seen so far today, these guys are neck and neck, quite frankly, as they head through down into Mulsanne corner. Davison leads Asante with Liu in 3rd place. Toyota, mixed day for them so far. The other 2 cars had issues earlier on in the event, and they find themselves now with the other two cars, 1 and 2 in this one. That's where it helps to have a few extra cars in the field. As we see battling further through the field, Andre Jamil battling Preston Brennan, Jordan Fingal all in this mix here. Adrian Tishy there, just ahead of Matt Pulio, as we see Preston Brennan now making a move on Andre Jamil as they head down towards Indianapolis corner. Side by side, the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo. Just ahead of them is the other Alfa Romeo of Scott Sandover. Can that help his teammate? And it looks like it will. The Alfa Romeo is working together. Brennan having to look in his mirrors now at the BMW of Jordan Fingal as they head down towards the next corner. One of the many, many long straights we have here. Jordan Fingal saved his soft tyres for race 3, so keeping an eye on him here as Andre Jamil gets the move done on his teammate. His teammate may have helped him out, but he's taking the position anyway. Jamil up a position there over Scott, as just behind we can see battling Jordan Fingal and Preston Brennan. Andre Jamil is on the soft compound tyres for race 3 here, along with many drivers, 10 drivers starting race 3 on the softs. The most we've seen so far in a single race for drivers on the soft compound tyre. So that's worth noting for this one, that we could see a very soft heavy front of the field towards the end of this race. Jonathan Mills there started on pole position. He's on the hard compound tyres and he's 15th. I mean, the hard tyres explain a lot, but pole to 15th. It's a front-wheel drive car. It doesn't get the best of launch. It doesn't get a launch as good as the rear-wheel drive or the full-wheel drive cars, but still, disappointing opening lap there for Jonathan Mills, who's barely in the points now. And on those hard tyres, you would imagine he'll probably drop out of them as well. As we see battling here through the Porsche curves, Adrian Tishy side by side with Matt Pulio. Pulio, another one of the many drivers on the softs for race 3. He's trying to make his way now past, I believe that was the Mitsubishi of Daniel Solon. As towards the front end of the field, we have Davison leading over Asante. Adam Liu in 3rd position. Lewis Francis in 4th. Liam Jones in 5th place. As they complete the opening lap here, Toyota looking comfortable, but we know the speed that Renault has, in 3rd place, looking to try and cling on to something here at Le Mans. As Richardson side by side with Shah into the chicane, and Andre Jamil's going to take advantage of that one on the soft compound tyres. That Alfa Romeo is charging his way through the field here. Of course, Alfa Romeo won race 2 as we've got several cars into the pits, and again for the second time today we're seeing the Canadian of Adrian Tishy into the pits. Problems early on here, and that's several drivers. That's, I think, 6 drivers into the pits here with damage. So obviously something has happened further back through the field. I have to go and have a look at that one in a second. But up at the front at the moment, it's still Toyota 1-2. We're on board now here with Jonathan Mills, the pole sitter. We saw him having issues dropping down the field. Let's see what happens here. Into the braking zone for Mulsanne corner. Brakes late, just nails the back of Adrian. And that's where those two got damaged for sure. As we now, that's 2 of the 6 solved. Let's look further down the field now, and this is a different point of the lap. The 2 Alfa Romeos, Carlo won race 2 here today, and now in 19th already early on here, and it's just going to go into the back, just going to go straight into the back of Kieran Kevern. His teammate Dylan Varstenberg did the same thing, and that's where those two got damaged. As we see Andre Jamil pressuring Adam Richardson here. We've seen the trouble that drivers are having to go to pass that VW. Jamil gets it done through the S's there and up into 6th position. He does indeed get it done there as they head on to the Mulsanne straight. Jamil into 6th place behind him. Richardson now trying to cling on here. Doesn't look like he's going to get a clean sweep of podiums today, but still a pretty solid event if he can hold on to a top 8 finish here in race 3. But that won't be easy as we see Jamil now with that move done. And we see now further down the field Jordan Fingal pressuring the back of Vishay Shah. Looks like the BMW driver on those soft tyres trying to get his move done to try and get himself into the top 8 positions, and he will do quite easily there as he's being followed by the second of the American drivers, Matt Pulio, in the Ford, making his way around the outside of Vishay Shah, and Shah loses 2 positions there to 2 drivers that are perhaps wondering what a kilometre is at this point in the event, as he drops now down into 10th place, and not too bad, obviously a strong race 2 for him, and now essentially feeling the pain for that. As we already see here, the 2 Americans now move on. Their next victim will be Adam Richardson as they go through the Porsche curves. Pulio, that is not a traditional overtaking zone. He's going to go all the way around the outside of his fellow countryman in the BMW, but Fingal now is going to do the same, but to both of them, around the outside of Pulio and around the outside of Richardson, up in to 7th place. Richardson drops back, and Pulio now is going to have to try and find another way to get past the VW, and perhaps this is not what he would want to see. The back end of a VW possibly that and the back end of a Renault, the two worst things to see today, because they have been near impossible to pass regardless of the pace you have over the car ahead of you. But he's going to go down the inside here, not quite able to. You can see him there backing out at the last second, but as they head towards turn 1, looks like he's going to have the speed on the final lap here to get the move done into the first couple of corners. Down the inside, the VW puts up a strong fight. Richardson doing all he can, but you can see there the grip of the Focus just gets it past. Matt Pulio up into 8th place there. Fingal now already pressuring the back of Andre Jamil, another driver on the soft compound tyres. Perhaps Jamil struggling here, perhaps picking up some damage or something that's gone wrong here for the Alfa Romeo driver, because he is very slow through that first sector. Perhaps just feeling some effects of those soft tyres wearing. This is a very long track. I don't know what its effect on tyre wear will be a track like Le Mans, but perhaps that is a concern for the Alfa Romeo driver. But that BMW has reeled him in massively and quickly as he makes his way down the Mulsanne straight once more. The BMW, though, not one of the best cars on top speed. The Alfa Romeo isn't the best, but it's up there. It's one of the stronger cars on top speed. These two now will both be looking at the back of the Mitsubishi of Liam Jones, another driver on the soft compound tyre, trying to cling on to a top 5 finish here, as Andre Jamil pulling along Jordan Fingal on the straight. You can see there, pulling that gap up quite a bit as they head down the Mulsanne straight and towards the first chicane. And there you see the Mitsubishi can't do much against the Alfa Romeo. Jamil braking very late there. Can Liam Jones dive back down the inside? No, not quite able to. Fingal's going to try and take advantage of that. Looks like he was wedging his BMW down the inside. Looks like he's got it done, and he has indeed. Fingal up into 6th position there. Liam Jones not able to hold on to that position, but he's coming back at them. The Mitsubishi isn't giving up just yet. Of course, the four-wheel drive Mitsubishi will give it a better exit from corners like the chicane that we just went through, and that's allowing him to get back alongside us. In the background, you can see the stars and stripes once again are in the background of Matt Pulio. He's reeled this gap back down after passing Richardson for that 8th position. Fingal loses the spot there to Jones. Will Pulio get the move done now as they head into the chicane? No, Fingal blocking him off both ways there. Bit risky defending there from the American driver on the fellow American driver of Matt Pulio, as those two stuck battling for 6th place now, as Jamil perhaps getting a bit down the road. We wondered if he had a problem in the first sector, but no, looks like he's found his feet once more and is pulling away as we look back to the front here, and it has been smooth sailing. It's been domination once again. 3 races where the winner has just looked unbeatable. It's Tyler Davison, though, going to make it 6 different winners in the first 6 races of the season. Tyler Davison and Toyota win race 3 at Le Mans. It's a 1-2 for Toyota. Albert Asante takes 2nd place there, and in 3rd place Adam Liu is going to take the podium here for Renault. We thought they might have a little bit more to fight for in this race, but not quite able to take the fight to those Toyotas. Lewis Francis takes P4 ahead of Liam Jones, who did get back past Andre Jamil there on the last lap. Jamil there ahead of Fingal and then Pulio. Behind them, Adam Richardson didn't quite manage the top 8, but has managed to be top driver not on the softs that didn't have an incident. So it's a long title, but it's one he holds. Adam Richardson takes home P9 here. Solid points day for the championship contending driver. At least at this stage, it certainly feels that way. The VW very strong here as Vishay Shah comes across the line in 10th, just ahead of Kieran Kevern. Behind them it is Scott Sandover. Then it's Preston Brennan ahead of Dylan Varstenberg, one of the drivers there who had issues and had to make a pit stop. There we see Daniel Solon takes the final points paying position here, and we will take an exception to the usual cutting off after the top 15 cross the line, because Adrian Tishy is going to come across the line in 16th place. But where has Jonathan Mills ended up here? He's side by side with Ben Driscoll, the pole sitter, having a nightmare race here. As can he hold on to 17th place? Driscoll around the outside, he gets 17th, and Jonathan Mills is going to finish 2nd last after starting on pole position. I mean, worst case scenario, very nearly exactly worst case scenario for Jonathan Mills there and Honda. Disappointing race for them. But that's race 3 and the racing done for today. Tyler Davison takes the win here to become the 6th different winner in 6 races, making it a Toyota 1-2 with Albert Asante in 2nd. Adam Liu takes the podium, the championship leader, trying to get some more points out of this event. Not too bad for him, very consistent ahead of Lewis Francis and Liam Jones. Andre Jamil, Jordan Fingal and Matt Pulio, that group there gave us some great action on that final lap. of this race. Then it's Adam Richardson just outside the top 8 positions ahead of Vishay Shah, completing the top 10. Kieran Kevern is in 11th place ahead of Scott Sandover, Preston Brennan, Dylan Vastenberg and Daniel Solon, rounding out the top 15 positions and therefore points positions. 16th place, just missing out on points, Adrian Tishy there, the Canadian. Not quite the race he would have wanted after an issue in race 1 really scuppered his weekend, as the final 3 positions go to Ben Driscoll, pole sitter Jonathan Mills and race 2 winner Carlo Durante. Really a hard event to be consistent at, it seems, today. But that's it for Global TC here today at Le Mans. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. It's been really quite entertaining once again here, and I'm looking forward to the next event. So I hope you are too, really. There'll be some balanced performance changes before the next run, so perhaps that could shake things up as well. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.